It is a fallacy that pubs will reopen on December 2nd. In fact, the government has effectively closed all pubs by stealth for the first time in English history. This is a quote coming from Tim Martin, who is the founder and chairman of J.D. Wetherspoon, one of the largest pub chains in the country. And it's part of a letter that he's written to MPs recently, stating or calling them out for what these restrictions really are. And he says it's a de facto closing down of the entire pub industry with this so-called Tier 3 and Tier 2 structure. And he went on to write to the government, and he said, Tier 3 shuts them down completely. Tier 2 turns a pub into a restaurant because you have to serve a full meal in order to qualify as a pub. So he said, again, that's a de facto shutdown of it as an actual pub. And he goes on to say, overwhelming scientific evidence, I think he's been listening to London Real, is that lockdowns cost more than they benefit. He said the government has spent £350 billion so far on lockdown. And he said that is 3 times the amount they have spent on health services. It's refreshing to me to see such a business leader as Tim start talking about the cost-benefit analysis, something we've been speaking, almost ad nauseum here for months and months here at London Real. And that is, what is the cost of lockdown? What is the cost in terms of lives? What is the economic cost of this lockdown in the long term versus what we think we're doing the right thing now to perhaps save lives or perhaps lower cases, whatever that means. But he's really looking at the long-term effect. And again, he's saying that you can dress it up however you want. You can call it Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier 67. But you are de facto shutting down the British pub industry by stealth for the first time in English history. And they pulled the wool right over our eyes. And guess what? They didn't need people bombing us with planes like they did in 1940 to shut some of these things down. They made us buy into it ourselves with this campaign of fear that the government has presided over and the mayor of London has been complicit in. This man, the current mayor of London, he campaigns, he crusaded for the current lockdown. He told us it was inevitable that London would be locked down. And then when a few of the boroughs qualified, he said, we all go as one. And he shut down every single borough in this city so we all could feel the economic pain and the health pain and the mental health pain and the younger generation pain of a lockdown. And now we're being blessed in a few days by reopening to this new tier system with our brothers and sisters in the north being shut down into a Tier 3, which is an effective lockdown. And like Tim has said, Tier 2, you might as well be shutting down the pubs because you're converting them to restaurants. And I appreciate a man with his gravitas, with his net worth, with his experience in the business, calling out our leaders for what they really are, which is this: totally lacking in leadership, making a disproportionate response to the virus, and having a total lack of science-based decision-making. And again, I'm going to keep talking about it until they actually make these changes. This is going to cause deep scarring on the economy here, as our Chancellor Rishi said. But more importantly than that, it's taking away our freedoms. It's your Christmas. It's my Christmas. We want to be able to choose to spend time with friends and family. We want to be able to have the human right to make choices about our lives. You get to choose whether you want to smoke or drink or jump off a building or do whatever you want. We should be allowed to choose certain behaviors and be told what the consequences are, to protect those that are vulnerable, but to also let us as humans make our own cost-benefit analysis. And I think that's ultimately what Tim is saying. He's saying, let's get some sanity back in, let's use some science, and let's get London back to work. Let's get the UK back to work as well. And that's why it is really my premier policy as your next mayor of London. Let's get this city back to work. Everyone I speak to wants to get back to work. The hospitality industry, which Tim is a part of, is one of the safest industries in the business. Only 3% of COVID transmissions happening there. One of the cleanest places. Their job is to keep your food clean and keep things hygienic. And they followed the regulations to the letter when it comes to be COVID safe. Let's let them get back to work. Enough of these lockdowns, enough of the tiered structures. Let's open up this economy. It is one thing that will strengthen everything from our health services to our mental health to the younger generation. Leave me your comments below. Tell me how you feel about tier 3 and tier 2 lockdowns. Where is your lockdown, wherever you are in the country? How do you feel about it? And do you think it's time that we opened things up and found a solution, a way of living with this virus, a way of controlling it and not eliminating it? I want to hear your thoughts. This is an open and honest discussion. I think the best idea can win. And as your next mayor of London, I will take ideas from the Labour Party and I will take ideas from the Conservative Party. I want the best ideas to be executed on and win so we can have the best future and the best economy. Leave me your comments. Thank you very much.